Hello, Mike.
Hey, we're back
We're
again.
back. Episode number 2 of the most original thing ever to hit the airwaves. An interview show. Call to an
Interview.
Perfection. So, that was a pretty good first episode. I actually kind of liked it. You had a pretty good guess, but I brought somebody.
Got somebody to top the first one?
Maybe. I'm bringing in something completely different. Former movie trivia team champion, Mr. Matt Casual Chaos.
Oh, shit.
Hey guys, I got my list of top interview questions. We're gonna rank them, right?
That's rank them. M rank.
Oh,
That's the other show. You have to actually answer questions today, but you should be pretty good with it.
oh yeah, I can answer some questions.
Cool. It was a really hard get, this man. Even though he's in our own faction and we talk every day.
Many
And he
missed
always
phone
had a
calls.
moment to be on this show. It was a bitch to schedule. So let's make the best out of it.
You guys hit me right
I'm
in the
gonna
sweet
start-
spot before I get
You
called.
can go with even numbers today, Mike. I'll go with
Let's do it.
flipping the formula, keeping it fresh. Let's do it. So, Matt, question number 1. What's the movie or movie moment that started your love for movies?
I don't think there's like a specific movie. I mean, I've kind of just like always had movies on in the background. It was like as long as I can remember being a kid, I would have movies on, and I'd be running around the living room acting out like the action, like I was Rambo or Remo Williams or somebody else just running around beating up all the bad guys, saying all the lines. Robin Hood, I know that was another big one. But if I had to pick like one movie that kind of cemented like, oh, these are movies and that's what they are, it was probably The Fugitive. Because that was like the first time I realized, wait, that guy, I know him. He's Indiana Jones and Han Solo, and he's now this. They can just do this. They get paid to just like do awesome stuff all the time, be different people. I mean, that I thought that was amazing. That made me kind of want to be like an actor for a while, but I outgrew all that. So, but yeah, if I've had to pick one, I'd say that's probably the moment I started paying attention to what movies were. Yeah.
Good pick. Sexy man, Harrison Ford over there.
Oh yeah.
Did you actually get to see this in a theater, or did you watch it?
No. I remember watching it while jumping up and down on my grandpa's bed. That's my memory of watching it. And then halfway through, I just started sitting down and actually watching it. So I think that's kind of like I said, that's when I kind of like started paying attention to movies more instead of just having cartoons or stuff on in the background. That's when I kind of started watching and learning and stuff. So
My dad actually took me to theaters for this when I was 12 years old.
Oh wow.
I remember I really liked it, and I was so excited for when the sequel came out. And then he's like, "But Harrison Ford is not in it." I was like, "What? How?" But Tommy Lee Jones, though, it wasn't worth it, guys.
Great fucking
Mike,
choice.
you got the next question.
Number 2. What's the first movie you remember seeing in theaters?
Now this is when I had to actually do a little research because there was 2 movies that I actually remember seeing and being excited about seeing in theaters. I can't remember which one came first, but they were Rescuers Down Under and Dick Tracy, which Dick Tracy came out first. So that was probably the first movie I can remember seeing in a theater.
That's a choice. I like that.
I mean, it was the early 90s. That's like, it's a comic book movie. We got that, and we got like Batman reruns from the 60s show.
Do you remember enjoying it?
Probably not. I mean, I remember all the bright colors and stuff and the spectacle of it, but I think I remember being bored by it.
Really?
I mean, going back and watching it later on, I probably enjoyed it a little bit more. But let's see, 90, I was like maybe 5 or 6 at the time, so that one maybe moves a little bit slower than the comic book movies the kids get nowadays.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But still, I actually think Warren Beatty did a pretty good job with this one.
Oh yeah.
I remember it as a child really, really liking this movie because we got a cartoon back then. I don't know if you guys get it. It was basically a Dick Tracy cartoon, but it was like clips. It lasted like 2 or 3 minutes. and it was like based on the strips from the newspapers.
Mhm.
So the animation was really, really rough, and they were really, really like square characters. And the makeup they did for this movie was like dead on. It was like flat top was like flat top, and big lips. It was the same. They looked exactly like it. Pacino was still great.
I mean, the makeup they did for the villains in that movie is amazing. With
Yeah.
Pacino and Dustin Hoffman as the Mumbles guy. I mean, that was
Mumbles, yeah.
really
Yeah, it's pretty good. Actually, I know I consider that movie underrated. I think it's one a solid pick from the '90s that doesn't get talked about very much.
no,
So
it's kind of forgotten. Yeah.
it's pretty good. Number 3, if you could pick one movie, any era, to be able to see it in theaters, which movie would you choose? And be careful with what you choose because right now there's no new movies, so it might actually show up in theaters.
Now, question is this movie coming to the present day, or am I traveling back to that era to watch the movie?
We did not think this that deep.
Because I think that kind of changes the question a little bit.
I will say from this, like from right now, if you were able to pick a movie, what would you go see right now? Not back then,
Okay.
but if you were here in 2020.
See, now that changes. See, I had one
In
answer
hell.
for both of them, so that kind of changes it. If I could program a movie theater right now to play a movie, which would be amazing, any movie. But if I could pick one right now, I think I'd actually want to do Lawrence of Arabia. Because
that's a great choice.
that's one that you really can't appreciate unless you see it on the huge screen. And I've kind of been, I can confess I have not seen it yet, and I'm holding off until I can actually see it in the theater because I want that to be my
That's a
first
movie to see
experience.
in theaters.
So yeah, that's now if I could, oh, go
I
ahead.
haven't seen it either, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but this is one of those movies that scare me. Like when you sit down to watch Lawrence of Arabia, you have to sit down to watch Lawrence of Arabia, you know.
Yeah.
And there's like a few movies like that in my blind spots, but I will not tell them all because I still compete in trivia. But let's say this might be one of those.
And then that's another reason because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm watching movies at home, I have a tendency of looking at my phone sometimes and other things I can easily get distracted. That's why I love going to the movie theater because it's just me and the movie, and I don't have to worry about any other distractions. I can sit there and focus and actually give it 100% of my attention. So. Yeah.
God, I miss that experience. So if you're actually watching this in 2021, probably it's gonna be R.I.P. theaters. Next question.
Did you get to experience physical movie rentals, VHS, DVD, and a video store?
Yes and no. Of course, I am of age where I got to experience the rentals. But growing up, my mom actually worked in a mom and pop video store called Rainbow Video. So it's pretty much probably from the time I was like 7 till I was like late teenager. I pretty much there was like a little back room in the video store where I could just sit there and watch VHS tapes, and as long as no one rented the Nintendo 64 for the weekend, I could hook that up and play video games. Of course,
I had that same experience.
Really?
Dude, it was fucking incredible. That's awesome.
So what he's saying is,
okay,
he could take the movies for free.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, on like a Friday night, I would just walk through the store and pick like maybe 5 or 6 movies, just take them home for the weekend.
I think we lost the host.
We lost a host.
I'm gonna do this for a bit. Okay. So what do you? I mean, I assume you were a small kid, like.
Yeah, like I said, I was probably about 6 or 7 when she started working there, and I pretty much just ran that all the way through till maybe I was probably about 14 or 15 when she went to get a job somewhere else. So I had a solid run in that store. There were lots of like Saturdays that I have friends come over and we just play GoldenEye in the back all day long until, of course, someone comes and rents GoldenEye. Then I have to give it up, and it's gone.
Yeah, that's actually something that's very familiar. I actually experience a lot that thing where you get like you rent something, you play it, you save it, and then you return it and rent it like next week, and they erase your file.
Oh yeah,
painfully.
Yeah,
that happened to me on a lot of games.
I'm gonna move you a bit. There you go.
Oh, this feels more humble.
So since you actually experience a video store,
and then of course,
what's your favorite video store?
Of course, I have to say Rainbow Video, but after Rainbow Video, as I became an adult and actually had to rent my own movies, it was, of course, Blockbuster.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
I need to make it count.
I had the little membership thing where they send you could just go and get like 3 movies at a time, and then after you watch them, bring them back, get another 3 movies at a time.
Yeah,
I abused the hell out of that thing.
they had the monthly thing. That was like later. I don't know. In Panama, that came actually like to the end of the cycle, like for the last 2, maybe 3 years that they existed. They had the thing. You pay. I think it was like $15 a month or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how much. And then it kind of merged into when they started doing the disc by mail when they were trying to compete with Netflix. And you can get like 3 movies in the mail, then you take those to the store and you can exchange them for free rentals. So yeah, that was a good time. That was a good maybe like 4 or 5 year stretch right after high school where I was just in Blockbuster like every other day.
I think I have mentioned this before, but my favorite experience was when they did like Crazy Wednesdays here in Panama, where basically you could rent up to 8 movies, a quarter each in VHS. And it was only from the favorite sections, like the ones in the middle. You couldn't get the rentals, not new releases or not the 1 days or the 2 days, just the ones in the middle. But you could go and rent like Star Wars, the whole trilogy for 75 cents, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Mike, next question.
Now, you have your own money. What was the first movie you chose to rent at your video store? Could be a mom and pop video store, could be Blockbuster.
And we mean by not like a child thing, like when you earn the money.
Yeah, when you actually have your own money.
Well, let's see. When I first got a job and I could like rent any movie I want, I'm sure it was probably something like inappropriate that I couldn't have seen before, like Showgirls or something like that. Well, the Blockbuster didn't really have a great porno section.
Yeah, that's true.
You had to set up for like NC-17 is the best you get.
Our one wish.
Showgirls, Crash, all the fun stuff.
Okay, so changing speeds over here. What's your favorite actor? Who's your favorite actor?
So now this is a tough one because all-time favorite actor, even though he's kind of had like a lull period, is Harrison Ford. I mean, he'll just be till the day I die, or more likely till the day he dies. But right now, if I had to say who my favorite actor is, I'd probably say Edward Norton right now is my absolute one who's actually still earning the title.
I like both those choices.
Yeah.
Both different choices, but both fucking great choices.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what was the second choice?
Edward Norton.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. He hasn't disappointed me as much as Harrison Ford has, but like I said, Harrison Ford.
Indiana Jones versus Derek Vineyard.
Edward Norton has disappointed me in life, but not in film.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah. I discovered that sometimes you really got to be an asshole to be a really good actor. So.
Yes, and that's the thing. If he was kind of less of a douche, maybe he would be in the MCU right now. But
yeah.
Still, great actor. So
We
sandwich them together. Who's your favorite actress?
Oh, this one's a little bit tougher. I don't really have like an obvious answer, but I'm probably say Natalie Portman, because she's one that I kind of like. I kind of like grew up with her as she was acting and stuff, because I remember her like in The Professional watching that when I was probably too young to be watching it, and Beautiful Girls and stuff like that, and then kind of just watching her. Of course, Star Wars blew up, and then of course even recently, Vox Lux was one of my favorite movies a couple of years ago. So
that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great choice.
That's a pretty good pick. He has been solid for a while, and I think after Black Swan, she pretty hit his stride, like just shining as a lead actress. And she makes very interesting projects, actually. If you look at her filmography, well, few exceptions, but mostly it's pretty great.
Yeah, don't watch that Lucy in the Sky.
She was in, what is that David Gordon Green?
Smoke. Your Highness.
Oh, Your Highness.
She's in that, right?
We do not discuss. It did not.
I mean, it's not her fault. It's bad.
Yeah. No, she was good in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's your favorite director?
This is another one of those categories that's a little bit tougher for me. I mean, if I have to like go to for like a favorite like auteur director, I'd probably maybe say Tarantino. But if I just want to say like my all around like favorite guy who like Harrison Ford, I'll be in his corner till the day he dies, is of course Kevin Smith.
Fuck yeah. Yes.
You win.
The show
Right
is
at that
done.
point.
Episode
That's
2.
Cuellar is the winner. We do not need to keep interviewing people.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably the only director I've actually met too, so that might skew my perspective a little bit. So
I wish I actually get to meet people, but they only come to conventions here when they're dying. Like I think like 2 years ago, Peter Mayhew came. The guy couldn't even really walk, and he was signing autographs too. The fun part though is that I have a picture somewhere, and the guy sitting down is taller than me, standing up.
Yeah.
I was standing up next to him, and he was sitting down, and he's still like, hey. Good stuff. Next question.
What's your favorite movie?
I feel like anyone who kind of knows me in the community knows that, of course, my favorite movie is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That is a fucking excellent movie.
That's one that my mom kind of introduced me to when I was maybe about 10 or 11 or so. I didn't love it right away. It took me a couple of times for me to watch it, but loving it. But now every time I watch it, I just notice something different every time. It's just, they just cram so many jokes into that movie. It's just amazing.
Now, did the ending take you out of it the first time you watched it, or were you all in when that ending comes up?
I don't know about the first time I watched it, but I love the ending now. It's just that's like one of the last things you'd ever expect to happen in a movie. And it's just amazing. I'm sure largely like a lot of the things, it was a budgetary reasons, but
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it better. I mean,
You know,
just to imagine them with horses, you can't do it, but the coconuts, it's just it's amazing.
Coconuts are amazing.
That's actually a pretty interesting point, the budget thing. I heard that happened to, I think it was called Pieces of April, something like that. It was a Katie Holmes Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah,
I've seen the cover of that.
yeah,
Is it called Pieces of April?
yeah. Pieces of April. Yeah.
Yeah, Pieces of April, you got it.
You're watching that movie, and she's trying to get home for Thanksgiving, right? And then when she finally gets home for like the last 2 minutes of the movie just cuts, and it's like pictures of her, not even like a scene. It's like still pictures of her like getting in the house with her family and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's a weird choice. I mean, it doesn't completely ruin the movie, but you do feel a little incomplete. And then I found out that they ran out of budget. They couldn't really film the last couple of scenes, and they had like one take that was crap, and they just took like screenshots from it and just like
Photo montage.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make that good cinema. In this case, it doesn't actually ruin a movie that is actually pretty good. I think it's really hard for me. I don't know where I would rate it. The 3 Monty Python movies are all great.
Oh, yeah.
But I think in my case, my personal favorite would be Life of Brian, because I always I have a thing for Jesus stories that are not really straightforward from the Bible. And just having this guy that was born like two houses down, and everything is like he is, but he's not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny.
Oh yeah.
The most important question,
Yes.
the document: Spielberg movies or Burton movies?
This is a semi-tough question because they both have some really amazing films and they both have some stinkers. But overall, I think that Spielberg has the stronger filmography, I have to say.
The King. The King lives to live another day.
If Tim Burton would have died in like 1998, it would be a much closer race.
99, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, that's true. I want Big Fish too. We gotta have Big Fish in there. So maybe kill him off like what 05?
Yeah, but if you want Big Fish, then you gotta have Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, I love the man, but yeah, I don't expect this score to be very, actually I do expect it to be very one-sided. Question number 10, Mike.
Speaking of actors now, Kurt Russell, yes or no?
How is this even? I mean, it's yes.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, whoever puts no on this, you should just cut the feed right then. And be like, we're sorry, technical difficulties.
So far, pretty
He's
good.
sweeping the board.
We were talking with our other guest that he's probably, in my opinion at least, when he shows up, he's usually the best part of whatever movie he's in. He actually like improves a lot of shit.
Yeah.
He and Jason Lee is what gives Vanilla Sky the edge.
So,
Oh.
now, Bruce Campbell, though, yes or no?
The chin.
I think it should be yes, no, or groovy.
Holy shit! You've now just changed the question forever.
I am anything as
You've just changed the question forever. I love it.
In which
Episode
case-
2, we already changed the shit to make it better. Groovy.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to edit that now. Yes, no, or groovy. No.
Yeah, but
Or
you see, behind my shoulder over there is a picture of me with Bruce Campbell. So
Yes.
that's definitely
That's
what
what I'm talking about.
that's another person I would actually love to meet in real life. You know,
When
it's
did
like
you, when did you meet him?
Oh, it was probably a few years ago, one of the Comic-Cons. I think maybe 4 years ago. So yeah.
did he charge you for an autograph?
I did a picture, so I had to pay for the picture.
Yeah.
If I ever see him again, I'm going to take the picture and get him to sign that. So, and he'll probably charge me for that. But hey, they got him.
There was they did try to make a Comic-Con here last year, and they brought like the dad from Twilight. I was like, dude,
Billy Burke?
is that his name? Like the dad of Robert Pattinson.
Oh, okay, different guy.
Yeah, I can't think
Peter Ficelli?
Picelli, yeah, that's him.
He was on that one show that was good for like a season and disappeared. The Miami Vice ripoff.
Motherfucker wanted like $50 for a picture. I was like, you're barking up the wrong tree right here.
I will tell you what's worse right now is because they can't have the conventions. They're doing virtual meet and greets with the celebrities.
Yeah.
Where they will do one of these with you for like 3 minutes and charge you like $60.
John Cleese is actually doing that right now, but he's doing it for charity, which then I went, okay, that I respect. But yeah, for the people who are going for 3 minutes, pay me this much. Come on.
The Green Ranger is not doing it for charity.
I actually did something like that for my kid's birthday. We found this place that was doing like superhero meet and greets. Like basically, it's a guy dressed as a superhero for $15, and they talked to the kid for like 10 minutes. So my kid was going into this Batman phase because I mean it's my kid. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And it's Batman.
So when I call him like somebody's calling you to say happy birthday, and it was fucking Batman. He's like, Batman called me for my birthday. I was like, totally worth the $15 that I didn't pay because I got a coupon and it was 10. Next question, Mike.
So
I think it's the last question, right?
yeah, it's the last question. We ended off the great way. Recommend 2 movies people wouldn't expect from you.
I had to think about this one for a little bit because I think that most people probably think that I like a somewhat wide variety of bad to really good movies. So I kind of went to a couple of genres that people don't really think of me when they think of those genres. So the first one I'm going to recommend is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh,
Wow.
I would definitely did not expect that from you.
Now, to be fair, I have not watched this movie in a long time, but I remember really enjoying it as far as a classic musical. And I was looking at it at IMDb and saw it was like 2.5 hours long. I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to watch it for another long time. But I feel like I enjoyed I watched it. Dick Van Dyke, of course, the highlight for me of Mary Poppins. And but yeah, I remember this is one of the films that I would watch a lot as a child. And it's one that people were not
You watched
expecting.
2.5 hour movies as a child.
I mean, it's on in the background. I'm playing with action figures on the floor, but I'm going to hum along with the songs.
I like it. And what was the other choice? You said you were between.
The other one I would say is the one I just watched recently because I started watching some of these films thanks to HBO Max, and that's Howl's Moving Castle. Because I've watched a few of the Ghibli films now, and a couple of them I was like, I think some of them might have been a little bit overhyped for me, so I didn't really fall in love with it. But this one, I really enjoyed this one. Out of the 3 or 4 I've watched so far, this has definitely been my favorite. So I would definitely recommend it if you're curious now that they're out, and if you want to dip your toes in. I think this is a good one to start with.
I will be definitely starting with that one then.
Right. We ended the joke. Damn it.
Yeah, the joke is done. I've never seen one of these fucking movies, so this one I will start with.
Actually, this is an interesting pick because I am actually a Ghibli fan, and I started late. I started about 1997. So my first one, the first one I ever watched, which is still to this day, well, technically, it's one of those things. It's your favorite, but it's like there's another one I put higher because a little bit. Was Princess Mononoke, and then after he retired and unretired for like the next decade, I think he unretired again, and he's actually making a new movie. I watched every single one of the movies he made. I watched Spirited Away. I watched Ponyo. I watched The Wind Rises. I did not watch the Howl's Moving Castle for some reason. So interesting. Actually, something I will take your word for, and I will watch.
We'll see. Now you both got to watch it and report back on a future episode.
Yes. I like
and
it.
tell me if it sucks. Probably won't, because I mean the man is a genius.
Yeah.
So thanks, man. That was actually pretty fun.
This is really fun. I was sad I didn't get to rank things or watch shark trailers or win like a belt or something. But
that's the other show. This is not M ranked. But we'll actually, if you want, we'll have it.
We'll get you on that for sure.
Probably won't be none of the things you already seen.
Yeah.
Something different, something original. That's our shit. We still shit and make it better.
Well, maybe after you do a few of these interview shows, we can rank those.
Oh, I like it.
You are officially invited for M-ranked ranking.
I will be totally impartial. 100% impartial.
Yes. So, thanks to my co-host, Mr. DVD. Thanks to Mr. Matt Casual Chaos Cuellar. And since I love getting copyright hits, we'll see you next time. It's a different song because it's a different show.